it's a real skill. I think you can really learn it and enhance it and always pick up more on display, that people don't have to ask for this cable or that cable, you know, a little bit peckish. So it's nice manners. Obviously, sometimes I try to eat myself before going to a party so that you're not relying on the party food. Hello everybody, thank you for coming back and joining us. This community is all about femininity, womanhood as I call it, sisterhood, sharing knowledge, sharing wisdom. So we'll get into the video all about hosting. A lot of this is kind of common sense, or you might have observed this by being at other people's parties and events. I recently did a video all about baby shower and nesting parties, which was a new one for me, which I thought was a brilliant idea. So go over and check that one out after this video. And that's what inspired me to think about like hosting tips. And I actually find hosting really hard. Like, I love bringing people together and I love you know, being at parties and like that, but I get a little bit awkward. Would you guys be like that? So like, I like people feeling welcome and the creative side of a party, but yeah, sometimes I struggle trying to like enjoy the party and host. So I really think it's a skill. Some people are just absolute naturals at it, so I congratulate you and I'd love to know more about like your tips on that. So what I've found really helped is like preparing as a host, like to have as little to do on the day as possible if you're the host. So things like, if you're given a party favour at the end, to leave them by the door so you don't forget, or to leave them near the exit, or to leave them out at a table that people can help themselves. One of the best hosting tips was, when you greet your guests, always let them, people want to sit down, they want to know where to go. So kind of as a host, to make them feel comfortable, to direct them and be like, put your coat here, grab a drink over there, kind of give them a rundown a little bit. Or you can do that on the invite to kind of let people know where we're going to be doing whatever event it is, like as in we're going to be having lunch, we're going to have dinner, like set their expectations, or we're going to be doing party games after. Just stand by the door and greet everybody if you can. I find I'm like running around making them drinks, making them this, making them that, and snacks, and handing out snacks. So to have everything like buffet style and point people in that direction, let people help themselves, let people pour their own drink, make their own cup of tea, like have it all ready to go, laid out, buffet style. So that really helps. The hostess, I think, is about creating an atmosphere is the most important. Like music, think of music, think of people want something to do, or holding their hands, or having like a topic to talk about. So think of your activity, even if it's just a casual like little brunch. It's so nice to bring people together and you're so appreciative. I've been at like networking events before, and it was like for public speaking and self-development, and to have somebody greet you by your name and remember your name and remember what you've talked about, and then to take you and to introduce you to somebody else. So the hostess can be good at that, at like really putting two people together or letting them sit together. But kind of as a hostess, it's nice to say, oh, this is my friend XYZ and I know her from this area and she's into these topics, and you give them a topic to talk about and you connect them with the other person. So Sarah, meet Mary. Mary does the same as you in this blah blah blah. So you give them like a topic to connect over, and then you leave them be. So that's a great tip as well. I've had that as a hostess do that to me, and it was really good. Made you feel really welcome, really comfortable. All these little tips, I'm sure for a lot of people it's common knowledge, or they grew up in this kind of like events and parties and this like etiquette and these lovely manners. But I think it's a real skill. I think you can really learn it and enhance it and always pick up more. setting the tone with music, or having an activity or games, or making sure people are comfortable. So I once had the hostess like go out of their way to provide. I had my little baby girl with me, and we were sitting outside in the sun, and they were just insisting like, oh, sunshade, or like sometimes you forget to bring stuff. I didn't have like a little sun hat with me, and they were like, oh, sit here, just really catering to me, and it makes you feel really welcome. At first I was like, stop making such a fuss. As a hostess, I've found in the past what really helps is to ask up front about dietary requirements, like vegetarian or any food allergies, especially if you're having kids or doing like a kid's birthday. Always to ask about a food allergy. I think that's really considerate, and to have like an option there, or even if somebody says, you know for a fact that they are, or they like this certain type of food, to have that in. If they like a certain beer or drink, or they like a certain non-alcoholic drink, that like if you keep that in mind, if you see them at a party that you've gone to, like to remember these little details, it really helps to be a hostess. If you can just become more aware of like, oh, that person likes this, when they come to my house I'll have that stuff ready where someone doesn't need to ask. So I've gone to like a house party before, and they would have like toothbrushes and cosmetics and like spare like toiletries ready to go in case somebody did want to stay over, or they did get stranded, or they can't get home. And it's like preparing in advance and having all that ready without having to ask, oh, can I borrow this, where's this, where's that, like to have everything out and spare. Like for example in the bathroom, to like have the bathroom completely stocked so you don't have to go to the host and ask, like all those little tiny embarrassing things. So that's a great tip as well. Keep that in mind, be fully stocked and have spares, and think in advance what could people need. Anything like in the bathroom, anything in the kitchen, like have spare like milk if you're making tea and coffee, or have spare. Another great tip is to always have like a dairy milk alternative in the house, because that's not something you might say like, oh, that's a food allergy, but you might say like, you don't want people to have to ask, and you don't want people to have to compromise. It makes them so much more comfortable if you have that just as an option anyway. Or things like sugar-free jam, or sugar-free options if they're diabetic. Like they don't have to put you out, but if you have that available for them already, it's really, really considerate, I think. And if you're offering food, I think it's great to, people have like different diets, to have options, like not to always pander towards your like, say if somebody's doing keto, they don't want to necessarily have to say that they're doing a protein heavy diet and you're doing a brunch, and it's all like have options. Think broadly if you're, and don't have people have to ask you, like have the options available, and think outside the box and not just what you would like to eat. Especially if you're doing a kids party, to have healthy options as well. That some parents feel a lot of pressure around the sweets and the sugar, and it's very hard to control. Like kids, when you go out for a meal, there's the ice cream option, there's the dessert, like there's a lot of pressure on parents to kind of manage the sugar levels, I find personally. So it's like when you're going to a party, you know there are going to be sweets and sugar at them, that it's just so considerate of another parent to make it more like fruit, or yes, that's high in natural sugars, but to think of healthier options as well, and to think of other food options. Not if you want to go down that route. I think that's just the icing on the cake, to be a really considerate hostess and to make people feel welcome is the main goal. What else have I found with hosting? Buffet style, have everything ready to go, greet people at the door, just stand at the door and 1, 2, 3 and tell people where to go. Think of flow of the party and traffic, as they call it, especially if you have a good few people. Be fully stocked, have a lot of things stocked up in the house, whether it's food or toiletries, or if somebody needs to stay over. Have your timing of your party really well thought out as well. It's all just about planning ahead. Like, have spare plates, have spare cups, spare everything out. Even just do like paper cups and stuff, just to have it spare. Not that people have to root and ask. Like I said, be fully stocked. And another great tip is to be really attentive. So in a brunch, there's certain expectations of food. If you're going to do lunchtime, people are going to get hungry. They don't want to wait for food. The worst is like being at a party and you're like constantly nibbling at things because there hasn't been a substantial like food offering, so you're kind of getting a bit a little bit peckish. So it's nice manners. Obviously, sometimes I try to eat myself before going to a party so that you're not relying on the party. That again could be you as a guest have a responsibility to not be too much pressure on the poor hostess as well. But as a hostess, it's great to think of people, like think of the time of day the party's at. I think there's less expectation if you have an evening party. Then it's more about like socializing and drinks maybe. Think of the time of day. Then be a good listener and be attentive at the party throughout. Like check in with people. Are you comfortable? If you see somebody like more quiet and in the corner. Another great tip is any type of party, or if you're having guests over to stay, phone chargers, to have them out on display, that people don't have to ask for this cable or that. I know we're so dependent on our phones nowadays. You want to turn them off and be chatting to people, but for people to get home or to order taxis or to like whichever way they want to take pictures, it's so nice to have to be a good hostess and be considerate of that and just have phone chargers ready to go. Another great tip is like think of your guest list. Are there kids coming or no kids coming? So I think always have like kids entertainment, even if it's colouring books, or don't assume like just because somebody's bringing their kids that they should have brought a toy for their child, or to have a child seat, or if somebody said they're bringing a baby, like to have some kind of seat or cushion for them, just to think of them as well, or to have like that's going above and beyond. That's being a great hostess now, I think, personally. I know it's these kind of details. I think it's so nice. It takes so much effort to plan a party, and I find them very tiring, but I love it when it all does come together. And a brilliant other hosting tip I found is to have like clean as you go and have bin bags, like not that people have to ask where the rubbish is, like to set up a buffet station, have people serve themselves, and then to have like a bin bag or rubbish bag like available, so the guests don't have to ask you. It's like it's obvious, oh, there it goes, and that helps like with the clean as you go. Allocate time on the day to actually sit and be present and be with your guests, not to just be hosting. Have an allocated time slot where you actually just are part of the party and get to say hello to people and really be an active listener and engage with them and really genuinely catch up with them as well if they've made the effort to come to your event. And then another great tip is if you can say like a group thank you, or if you can say individual thank you notes, especially handwritten, or if somebody's giving you a gift, like a handwritten thank you note for that, or to show people like you using the gift, especially if it's like kids clothes or like any kind of toy or stuff. I think it's really nice to show your appreciation as well.